श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. So yesterday we saw this Akasham etc. shloka that Dhāraṇā is not seen in Bhattānanda's commentary, but it is seen very much in the Shivopadhyay's commentary. Okay. Now here he is bringing another Dhāraṇā. līnaṃ mūrdhni viyatsarvaṃ bhairavatvena bhāvayet tatsarvaṃ bhairavākāraṃ tejastattvaṃ samāviśet. līnaṃ mūrdhni viyatsarvaṃ bhairavatvena bhāvayet tatsarvaṃ bhairavākāraṃ tejastattvaṃ samāviśet. So līnaṃ mūrdhni, what does this Dhāraṇā say? We have to merge the whole space. We have to meditate that the whole space, external space, is inside the skull. When you meditate that the whole space is inside the skull and meditate that space is of the nature of bhairava, then one merges with that bhairava. One merges in that bhairava. Okay. līnaṃ mūrdhni. viyatsarvaṃ mūrdhni līnaṃ. Līnaṃ means, līnaṃ is a word which is used for linga. Linga, Shivalinga, in the sense of Shivalinga. Linga, the word is called as, the word means pointer. Līnaṃ artham gamayati iti lingam. That which points out to the hidden truth. So, the tradition, the scriptures don't accept a physical form of Bhairava or Shiva or anything, any form. They don't accept a physical form. For people to meditate on that formless convincingly, without any problem, we give a form as prescribed by the, as seen in the Shastras, with mattered logs and all that. Now, that form is not going to be leading you to the formless, because if you are stuck to the form, you cannot go to the formless. So that is why from the formless, we slowly take him to, from the forms, we take slowly him into the formless form. A form which does not have a physical structure, meaning with hands, legs, etc. That is what Shivalinga. Okay, it's a pointer. Now, when you go beyond that, that is the Bhairava Swarupa, which is absolutely formless, attributeless, formless. Okay. Now, what he says is viyatsarvaṃ, the whole space, everything, whatever is there, including our solar system and whatever solar system are there, whatever, the whole universe, the space of universe. Mūrdhni līnaṃ bhāvayet. We have to meditate that they are inside the head, inside the skull. There are, jokingly if you say, see, if I ask you to meditate that you have 5 fingers in your hand, it's easy. If I tell you, meditate that you have a 6th finger, then it will be little tough. Where do you have to fix? Should I put it in the thumb or should I put it in the pinky? So there are doubts and all that. Okay. Now, if I ask you to meditate, you have a nose in the middle of the face and 2 eyes above it. Okay. That's easy for us to meditate. But for Shiva Ganas, the group of servants of Shiva, they have different structures, like funny things. Like they have 1 eye, they have 3 eyes, 3 vertical eyes, in fact, 4 ears with horns, sometimes with 2 mouths or 3 mouths. All funny ideas, whatever you can imagine, it's all there. So if I'm going to tell you meditate like that, it will take little effort for you to meditate because it is not easy to conceive something which is not normal. Okay. Similarly, here we say when we want to scold people, we say, "Did you leave your brain in your house, or did you come before? Probably before God put the brain inside, He sent you. You are a unfinished product. That's space. If you already have space there, it is easy for you to meditate about the space inside the skull. Anyway, jokes apart. So when you close your eyes, the whole creation, the whole universe is there, the whole sky, not universe, not the creations. The whole of sky, viyatsarvaṃ, sarvanama shabda, that's a pronoun. All. So all of them should be meditated inside the head. That is what this meditation tells you. And that space, how can you do that? See, in Purusha Suktam, Padavasya Vishpa Bhutan Tripatasya Tandavidam. Ha. Atyatishtat dashangulam. It says Atyatishtat dashangulam. Ati atishtat. It existed beyond. How beyond? How much beyond? Dashangulam. 10 inches beyond. So what is the Ishvara's state? Ishvara exists beyond the creation. To say that the Shruti says he exists 10 inches beyond, because he engulfs everything. The creation is inside him. That's the idea. So using that statement, you have to meditate that the skull, inside the skull, the whole creation, the whole of space is there. Only space. Now, space, if you are going to meditate in the skull, the space, from here, if you see the space, it is bright. Because you have this light or that light or that light, some light. So, it's bright. But when you go out of the atmosphere, beyond this, then you don't see the brightness. It's only dark, pitch dark. Okay. Now, if you close your eyes, if you are going to meditate the space, all the space inside your head, then it is going to be pitch dark. That space, therefore, you have to meditate as bhairava. Bhairavatvena bhāvayet. You have to meditate him as bhairava. That space is bhairava. How can I meditate? Space is bhairava. Why? Space is inert, bhairava is a sentient consciousness. True. You are right. The thing is, when talking about the space, the Shruti says, Akashavat sarvagatascha nityaha. Akashavat, like space, is all pervading and eternal. Bhairava is also all pervading and eternal. Space is accepted to be omnipresent and eternal. Eternal how? Because everything merges in the space. Finally, space merges in the space is the first creation, and space is that which goes as the last exit. Okay, while merging. So space is eternal when compared to everything else. Okay, we cannot conceive something without space. So that space is all pervading, therefore it is nothing but bhairava. The difference is space is dark, tamaha, but bhairava is a consciousness, therefore effulgent. So meditate on that space as effulgent space inside your head. Remember, we are not asking you to merge the internal space with the external space or external space with the internal space. We are saying the space, all the space exists in your head. That is what you are seeing. Okay. Now, tatsarvaṃ, bhairavākāraṃ. Now, when you meditate that space as bhairava, then everything takes the form of bhairava. When everything takes of that form of the bhairava, this person who is the meditator merges in that tattvaṃ samāviśet, tattaṃ samāviśet. He merges in that effulgence. That effulgence, the truth which is the effulgence, that substance which is effulgence, he merges in that. Okay, samāviśet. Now here, this is accepted by some as a Shakta Upaya. But there is nothing strange here which you cannot meditate upon. Therefore, I accept this as a anopaya. You can practice this. It's not a big deal. So you should not see, there is a difference. There is a difference. You should not meditate that your skull is growing and taking in all the space. Don't think like that. Think that the space inside the skull is the whole space. Your skull is what is engulfing the space. Meditate like that. Don't expand your skull through meditation, because that is not an advisable thing. Okay, so think that the whole space which is conceivable, they all exist only in your skull, inside your skull, inside your head. Okay, that space which is dark becomes effulgent because it is identified with the bhairava. It is merged in bhairava. Okay, when it is merged in bhairava, then you you become not different from bhairava. You become identified with bhairava. Okay, now simple. Close your eyes. See the space external as the space internal. See, your skull is engulfing the omnipresent space, all pervading space. That space is void, inert, dark. I merge that space in Bhairava. I identify that space with Bhairava. Now that Bhairava effulgence is perceived inside the skull. In time, the seer also merges in the seers of seer. The Bhairava. Om. So this is a practice which we can do. Therefore, that is why I said we don't have to bring it as a Shaktopaya. This is simple Anopaya. They don't take out to Shamba Upaya also. Okay. Now, kiṃcijjātaṃ dvaitadāyi bāhyalokastamaḥ punaḥ viśvādibhairavaṃ rūpaṃ jñātvānantaprakāśabhṛt kiṃcijjātaṃ dvaitadāyi bāhyalokastamaḥ punaḥ viśvādibhairavaṃ rūpaṃ jñātvānantaprakāśabhṛt. Kiṃcijjātaṃ, whatever little is known in the world of duality, that world of duality, which is the waking state, is seen inside, that effulgence is seen inside in the world of dream. And then there is the third state, which is the world of sleep, the darkness. That is why I call it world of sleep. And that, beyond that, is the Bhairava. Meditate on that Bhairava, knowing that Bhairava is all these seen in all these different states. One becomes the beholder of, one merges with, one identifies with that Bhairava state, that absolute effulgence. kiṃcijjātaṃ dvaitadāyi. Dvaitadāyi means that which gives you duality. Dvaitam dadati iti dvaitadāyi. That which gives you duality. That which world of duality, the waking state. Waking state is what produces the duality, right? Now, kiṃcijjātaṃ, we don't know it very clearly. That is why it is kiṃcijjātaṃ. We don't know everything in this world of duality. Even those things which you know, you have doubts regarding that. You ask twice, thrice, then you will start saying, I think it is like this. You will not be sure actually. You will never give a concrete answer when you are questioned again and again and again. Very rarely you say, no, I know it is like that. Okay. No. You don't know if that is a person or tree, or this is a rope or snake. Oh, so many doubts. That's the waking world. Okay. You don't know the person you are talking to is an enemy or friend. So that is the waking world. Okay. Now, bhahyalokastamaḥ. Bhahyaloka, the external light is, you don't have that external light. You see it inside. Meaning, whatever you experienced externally is perceived internally in dream state. Okay. Now, tamaha punaḥ. Tamaha means darkness. Darkness is the deep state. Again, the third state, which is the deep sleep state. Okay. So, we have the waking state, we have the dream state and the sleep state. viśvādibhairavaṃ rūpaṃ. The one who identifies with each of these states is Vishva, etc. The waking state, Vishva; dream state, Taijasa; the sleep state, Prajna. Okay. So, Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna, the Vedantic idea, that is what is said here. Okay. So, that is why Shivopadhyaya goes on to give you a gist of Vedanta in his commentary. Anyway, bhairavaṃ rūpaṃ jñātvā. All this meditated as bhairava. How? Think this. There is waking state, there is dream state, there is deep sleep state, and there is turiya state, turiya avastha. Jagrata avastha, swapna avastha, sushupti avastha, turiya avastha. Waking state, dream state, sleep state, and the fourth state. Actually, the fourth state, the turiya, is our inherent nature. Okay. So, with respect to these three, we call them state, state, state. Therefore, that is also referred to as state. In fact, it is not state. Okay. So, these states, therefore, that is also a state. Now, don't see it from the states. See it from the center, meaning the turiya. Turiya is not a state. That is the inherent nature. And there is nothing other than turiya. Therefore, these three states, which we were calling a state, they are nothing but turiya. Bhairavaṃ rūpaṃ. See all these states as bhairava. Nothing but bhairava. Okay? When you see that jñātvā, understanding there is nothing other than bhairava, then anantaprakāśabhṛt. Ananta means absolute, infinite. Prakāśa, effulgence. Bhṛt, holder. You become the beholder of absolute bliss, absolute effulgence. You become that absolute effulgence, bhairava. Okay. This is the first interpretation. Second interpretation. kiṃcijjātaṃ. Same. We have doubts regarding the external existence. dvaitadāyi, in the world of duality. bhahyalokah. Bhahyaloka means external. Aloka means light. External light. External light. We have the world of duality. How do you know that the world of duality exists? Because of the external light like the sun, moon, or the tube, etc. Whatever. Okay. So, the external light is what is illumining the objects. So, you have objects, you have the external light which illumines it. Then, when you discard this, there is only darkness. When you discard the objects and the effulgence, you have only darkness. The state of unmanifest. The unmanifest state. So, when you merge that state in there is no duality. That is a viśvādi, the Whole, meaning the objects, the effulgence, the darkness, everything. Viśvādi. Here, viśvādi is not your viśvata is a prajna. Here, viśva means everything. Whole. Viśva means whole. So, everything as bhairava. The object, effulgence, darkness, everything as bhairava. Then you enter the state of bhairava. That is what is a second interpretation. Okay. There is another interpretation possible, which Lakshmanju says that instead of bhahyalokastamaḥ punaḥ, he reads it as a Brahma aloka tataḥ punaḥ. Brahma aloka, the effulgence of Brahman. The external world, the effulgence of Brahman. Give up the external world, see it only as Brahman, then you become that Brahman. Okay. The thing is, here, this is accepted as Anavapaya. It is little more than Anavapaya because you have to understand the Vedantic nitty-gritties. If you know the Vedantic nitty-gritties, then you understand this. Therefore, it becomes a Anavapaya. It's not Shaktavapaya no more. Thing is, in Vedanta, Jagrata Avastha is accepted as Akara. Swapna Avastha is Ukara. Sushupti Avastha is Makara. And Turiya Avastha is silence. So you merge the A in U in Im, Om, and that merges finally in the silence. Even while chanting, the sound which you produce merges in the silence. That is how the japa should be done. We have already seen that. Okay. So, Om, that merges in the silence. That silence is your inherent nature. That is the Brahma Swarupam. Okay. So, this is Anavapaya, but it is little more than Anavapaya. Therefore, I accept it as Shaktavapaya. So, he wants you to see everything as Brahman. How can you see everything as Brahman when you cannot see yourself as Brahman? So, you see yourself as an idiot or this or that or that or this. Therefore, it is very difficult for you to practice this as a Anavapaya. So, we will skip that. Next is, so we saw objects, effulgence, darkness, bhairava. Okay. Now, give up the objects and the effulgence. We have darkness and bhairava. So, meditate on the darkness and bhairava. For that, he says, he brings in, there are also two possibilities. One with your eyes open, one with your eyes closed. So, the first one is with eyes open. This Dhāraṇā is with eyes open. Okay. Evameva durniśāyāṃ kṛṣṇapakṣāgame ciram taimiraṃ bhāvayan rūpaṃ bhairavaṃ rūpameṣyati. Evameva durniśāyāṃ kṛṣṇapakṣāgame ciram taimiraṃ bhāvayan rūpaṃ bhairavaṃ rūpameṣyati. Evameva, similarly in this way, meditating on very dangerous darkness or meaning solid darkness, or during the darkness of solid darkness, dangerous darkness means meditating on the cloudy darkness or meditating on the darkness on the day of a new moon. That darkness, seeing that darkness as the effulgence form of Bhairava, you attain the state of Bhairava. Okay. Now, evameva. Similarly, so in this very way, durniśāyāṃ. Durniśāyāṃ. Nisha means darkness, night. Nisha means night. Durniśāyāṃ means terrible night. What is terrible night? A night which is completely dark, not because of new moon. This is even in full moon, the night is dark. See, now it's very cloudy. Even at daytime, 4:30, it's still cloudy. Therefore, you don't see the sun like that. In the night, this will be even worse. The cloud is covering all the light. The clouds are covering all the light, so you will not see any light. It will be completely dark, pitch dark. That is what durniśāyāṃ, pitch dark. Okay, pitch dark. This pitch darkness can be seen during the durniśā, during this kind of nights. the cloudy nights, or kṛṣṇapakṣāgame. Kṛṣṇapakṣāgame means the waxing and waning, we say, right? So the new moon, that too particularly on the new moon, not a day before, not a day later. There is light, a small amount of light possible. We are not talking that. We are just seeing that pitch dark. Okay, kṛṣṇapakṣāgame, ciram. And we are not asking you to go out and meditate. You can just sit here in the room, even with the windows and doors open in the night, at least with uh, uh, the darkness of the cloudy night or the new moon night will be pitch dark. There will be no light if you don't put switch on any light. Okay, so ciram, taimiraṃ, rūpaṃ, bhāvayan. Focusing steadily on that darkness. Timira means darkness. Timirasya bhava taimiraṃ. Okay, that is why this in Tamil, the prayoga, the usage for the egotistical act is timir. Why? Because he's blinded by his anger or whatever. Okay, so bhavayan, meditating on that pitch darkness, what happens? Bhairavaṃ rūpaṃ eshyati in a gatau dhatu. So he gains the state of bhairava. So earlier we asked you to focus on this light of this space. Then we discarded the light. We only wanted you to meditate on this space. Now we are talking about meditating on the space which is dark, pitch dark. Okay, with your eyes open, you are going to only watch the darkness. This is a Shakta Upaya, mind it. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamadaḥ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Viśvādibhairavaṃ. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.